Share the president's vision of a new world order. In China this morning, there was a small reminder of that. It happened in Tiananmen Square, where 2 years ago, Chinese troops brutally cracked down on students protesting for democratic reforms. This morning, a delegation of U.S. lawmakers went there to call attention to the killings, and they learned that things may not have changed very much since then. Here's ABC's Nathan Thomas.
The three members of Congress had been optimistic about their human rights mission to China until they themselves went to Tiananmen Square. Democrats Nancy Pelosi from California and Ben Jones from Georgia and Republican John Miller of Washington staged their personal Tiananmen remembrance in front of the international media in a square full of Chinese tourists and security personnel.
Those who died here on June 4th, 1989 did not die in vain. They were martyrs to these principles that we all hold dear.
It happened so quickly that security people were caught off guard, but quickly intervened.
That was a very private and special moment for us that became public. We didn't intend for that to happen. We meant no embarrassment to our hosts. But the guards didn't understand, and they overreacted a little bit, but everything's fine.
But Chinese authorities proved that such personal acts, even by visiting foreign guests, are not allowed. As the Congress members rapidly left the square, security officials began detaining journalists and grabbing videotape. After about an hour,
democracy in China today and triggered a dramatic confrontation with Beijing police. It happened at the site where protesters were slaughtered in 1989. Bill Whitaker reports.
The three U.S. Congress members, part of a human rights delegation, said they couldn't leave China without visiting Tiananmen Square to pay their respects to pro-democracy activists slain there 2 years ago.
Those who died here on June 4th, 1989 did not die in vain.
While curious tourists gathered round, the lawmakers unfurled a small hand-painted memorial banner.
There is a memory which still burns bright, and it is a cause which will never die.
As they laid 3 white flowers at the foot of the monument to martyrs, Beijing police moved in. They ordered the Congress members to stop the ceremony and ordered press members to put down their cameras. Police pulled the 3 U.S. lawmakers aside for questioning and roughed up and detained 7 television journalists. After a few minutes of tense interrogation, the 3 members of Congress were allowed to go.
We've been told for 2 days now that there's freedom of speech in China.
We were trying to show in our own way that we have not forgotten those who died at Tiananmen Square.
The U.S. lawmakers leave Beijing tomorrow. They say they didn't know memorials for the students and workers who died here 2 years ago are prohibited on Tiananmen Square. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Beijing.
This is CNN.
You are looking at a live picture of the old parts of the Kremlin where Soviet lawmakers scrambled to review Russian amendments to a blueprint of the future of a disintegrating union. CNN's live coverage of the emergency session continues when it resumes.
We will also go live to Hamlet, North Carolina, where yesterday a deadly fire tore through a food processing plant.
This is CNN Morning News with Bob Kane and Donna Kelly, bringing you the latest headlines, plus information to help you make the right choices.
3 members of the U.S. Congress caused a stir in Beijing's Tiananmen Square today as they honored pro-democracy demonstrators killed during violence in June of 1989.
And so we leave this remembrance to these young people and to their cause. In their memory, there is a memory which still burns bright, and it is a cause which will never die.
Chinese police then told Representatives Ben Jones of Georgia, Nancy Pelosi of California, and John Miller of Washington to leave the square. News crews were in the middle, and the CNN crew was pushed by police.
OK， 我不叫，我不叫，我不叫，这边，回来，不叫，回来，回来，回来，什么意思？什么意思？打我，打我，没有什么错了。我不录，我不给他带着呢，没有晃，什么都没错。
The CNN crew was detained for an hour and a half, but no arrests were made.